Those who refuse the gift of eternal life are condemned to wander in the darkness of eternal night. Coming this fall from SJS Direct. One of my viewers asked, how do we invest in black fathers? And I'm going to go into how we can invest in black fathers over the course of this video. Now, in most black communities, we don't see a value in black men due to 50 years of white feminists and white leftists promoting propaganda to demonize the black man in the role of a father. And according to these narratives, your black man is seen as an irresponsible, lazy, and incompetent leader, and he was so incompetent in the eyes of these black women, these white feminists, and these white leftists that they had to replace him with the welfare state. And because most black women have this frame of thinking about the black man, they don't see the value of a black man in the home as a father, and they don't really understand the value of a black man in God's order as related to the order that God has established, which is God, the Most High Living God, Jesus, his Son, who reigns over the earth, man, who is the steward over the earth and a head of household, and the woman, who is supposed to be the helpmeet and support, and then finally the children. And the reason why most black women don't understand the black man's role in God's natural order is because your black pastor will not preach any sort of sermon as related to teaching the true gospel of the Most High. And because he won't teach the gospel of the Most High, this is why most people don't see a value in a black father, and they follow the narrative created by the feminist and the leftist as related to the black man, and they don't see a value in him as a father. So what we have to do in order to start the investment in black fathers is re-educating all of the black community on the value of the black man as related to the Most High's order. Because when we start to re-educate people on the value of the black man as related to the Most High's order, that's how we start laying the groundwork for that investment in black fathers, because we have to change the perception of the black man, and we have to change the way people think about the black man, because most black people have been programmed to believe all of these lies that were presented by your far left media and your white supremacist media about the black man, pushing and repackaging old narratives about the black man that go all the way back to the antebellum South, which primarily saw your black man as nothing more than a big black buck who was only good for his penis, and saw the entire community of black men as one big collective penis, and primarily controlled by his lust for sex. And that's how they primarily see the black man. And what has happened over the last 50 years as black women got into the feminist culture is they also began to see the black man in the exact same way that your feminist and your white supremacist, because your feminist is a white supremacist, and they all see the black man not as a responsible man, not as a loving man, not as a caring man who wants to share his life with his children and wants to have a family with his children. No, they see a black man as primarily a black brute who is controlled by the lust of his penis, and when all he wants to do is have sex with women, they primarily see this black man through the lens of the white supremacist And because they see the black man through the lens of the white supremacist, this is their perception of this black man. And that perception is the first thing that we have to work towards changing. We have to invest in changing the perception of the black man so that black women will start to see the black man as a father and a head of household. So they will see the black man as somebody who is important to God's natural order. They will see the black man as a head of household. And most importantly, they will see the black man as a steward who is accountable to God, and they need to be accountable too. So there's a re-education process that starts the investment process into black fathers, and then we can start going into the other aspects of investing in black fathers. Because in order to get that investment, we need an investment in changing the perception of the black man here in America, because so many black women see the black man in the same way that your racist white supremacist sees the black man, seeing him no more longer than a big black brute and a big black penis, but not seeing the person that penis is attached to. And that's something, again, that has to change first, and then from there we can start working on other aspects. We can start working on other aspects as we teach this new culture, because we have to show that there is value in the black man, and that there's value in the black man in the father role. Now, as we're showing value in the black man in the father role by going out here and stop demonizing black men on media like these talk shows, these movies, these TV shows, and creating new black media that shows us a positive presentation of responsible, caring, conscientious black men who love their children, their wives, and their families, we also need to start giving your black man the support that he needs. And the support that your black man needs investment in is the ability to assert his male authority, because without his ability to assert male authority, he cannot become the responsible steward that God wants him to be under his natural order, because the black man needs support from the society to be that steward, and that's something that your black man isn't getting under the welfare state, which wants the government to take the black man's role, and they want the black woman to take the black man's role in controlling the community, because they get an economic benefit in taking 97% of black dollars to your Koreans, your Arabs, your Indians, your Asians, and a whole host of others who profit off the black community at the black woman's expense. But the black community is in shambles because there is no black man who is allowed to have his authority, because the government takes economic authority through the welfare state and the corporate jobs many black women have, and it also takes authority by having law enforcement patrol black communities instead of having black fathers asserting authority inside of their community. So we need the black man back, given his authority back. And in fact, I would actually say the black man has to take his authority back, because if he cannot take his authority back, then what's going to happen is you're not going to see any investment, because as long as the state is in place undermining the authority of the black man cannot come in and be the father that he needs to be. And the other issue that keeps the black man from being a responsible father and a responsible steward is the dysfunctional state of the American job market and the black economy. Now, the black economy was undermined back in the 60s by your feminists and your leftists who wanted to create this welfare state. so that they could have a unlimited amount of resources pumped in from the government to your black communities, and the black man would not be able to have control over his community. This is what undermined black-owned businesses, and this is what undermined your black authority, because as long as the black woman saw more stability from the welfare state, she did not have to go out here and depend on her black man to meet her needs under God's natural order. So the black man needs economic support, and that economic support comes in supporting black-owned businesses, one, and two, getting rid of all of the ongoing discrimination that against black men that continues to go on in the job market. Because in the job market, while we're told it's about equal opportunity and so-called diversity, oftentimes you don't see any black heterosexual men on any of these corporate jobs. And the reason why you don't see any of these heterosexual black men on any of these corporate jobs is because corporate America has found a way to covertly discriminate against the black man while overtly promoting so-called diversity. And they do this by going out here and economically empowering the black woman, giving the black woman a job, and stripping the black man of an ability to be in his natural role as provider for his family. And this is done to discriminate against the black man and prevent the black man from having, one, economic power in his community, and two, having economic power over the flow of how dollars are spent, because they know that the black woman is a consumer and she will consume and buy products, and the black man, on the other hand, is a logical thinker, and because he's a logical thinker, it's not about what he consumes, it's about how he consumes. So when a black man goes out here and spends dollars and he's well educated and self-aware, what happens is he's looking not to spend his dollars with your whites, your Hispanics, your Asians, your Indians, and all of these other people. No, he's looking to keep those dollars inside of his community, and he's looking to spend his dollars with other black people so that other black people can remain employed. So having a black man in a job is something that brings black dollars back to black communities, and it also brings black businesses up to speed, and it allows black businesses to stay competitive. So when a black man has control over the dollar stays in the black community, whereas when a black woman who is a consumer, who primarily is driven by her emotions, is out here, she spends with every non-black. Moreover, she has been socially engineered to believe that spending with non-blacks is considered to be so-called better than spending with her own people. But when there is a father in the home, he teaches the value of being a black man and the value of supporting other black men. So that's a very important component as related to economics, and that's one of those things that investing in black fathers will be a benefit, because when a black man is given the ability to have his authority and the ability to have control over his economy and can get access to employment, then we can start to see a foundation in investment that gives the black man economic value, and that economic value is something that is core to the investment in black men and the investment in black fathers. Because the black father, if he has economic power and authority, then he can start to take control over his household and start to take control over his community. And we really need to, again, I keep talking about this, destroy this HR brick wall that has been created by your feminists and your black women, a wall that keeps black men out of employment at most corporate jobs, a wall that creates a barrier to black male employment, and a barrier that keeps a black man from being able to actualize his potential. Because this HR brick wall is something created based on the lies of the white feminist and the emotions of the black woman. And those lies from the feminists project the idea from white supremacy that the black man is lazy, the black man is incompetent, and the black man is incapable of doing the work. And the black woman, buying into these ideas, starts to believe this and projects her own negative experiences on the black man when he comes to interview for a job. And this is the thing that creates these biases that these black women and white women have that are used to keep the black man from securing full-time employment that would allow him to gain economic empowerment and the capital to go out here and lay the foundation for possibly starting his own business. Now, in addition to the employment issues and the lack of economic support, black men need support as related to dealing with these family courts. Now, these family courts have been a white supremacist institution that have been breaking up black families for over 50 years, and these gynocentric institutions have a clear bias towards the black woman, and these institutions are about destroying black families. And I believe if you really want a true investment in black fathers, you need to really get rid or reform these gynocentric family courts, which are designed to primarily, as I see it, break up black families by having this clear bias towards your black mothers and supports and enables them into becoming your single mothers. So, because when you have your family courts, what they do is they put these oppressive child support orders on black men, taking 80% of their income, and if they can't pay that support, they punish those black men by putting them in jail. Because what's really troubling is you can have something going on like a pandemic, and these families' courts are still going on out here, oppressing the black man. But if we really want to get that black man back in his role as a leader, a black man back in his role as an authority figure, and a black man in his role as a steward, then we need to reform these family courts so that they are not so oppressive on black men, and we need to make these draconian child support orders something more reasonable. Moreover, what we nearly need to do is work on ensuring that these children are not only given financial support, but given emotional support. Because the reason why so many children are dysfunctional in black communities is because they are not getting the guidance from their fathers. Yes, they are getting money in some cases from child support and these court-ordered child support as related to money, but these children's emotional needs are not being met by that man, and that man is not being in a place where he can sit there and teach and mentor his children, and he's not in a place where he can prepare his children for both manhood and womanhood. Because in order for a child to grow up healthy, a child needs the guidance and support of both the mother and the father. And the family courts, what they do is make it where the father is demonized and ostracized and not allowed into the child's home, into the child's life. And even with visitation orders, the woman can go out here and find ways to punish the black man by calling the police on the black man. So the black man, he can't get any sort of support from your gynocentric courts and your gynocentric law enforcement. They will go out of their way to punish the black man for wanting to do something as simple as wanting to visit his own children. So we really need to stop talking about, oh, child support is about just giving this money to the mother, because there's more that the child needs from a family than just money. Children need the guidance of a father as a leader, a father as an authority figure, and someone who can teach them life lessons about life that only a man has experienced. There are some things only a man knows, and only certain things that a man can give you guidance on. I mean, a boy needs a father there to teach him about his own body, and a girl needs a father there to model manhood so she can understand what type of man to get involved with when she wants to pursue relationships with. Moreover, when there is a father in the home, these males out here can be thoroughly vetted, because this is how you stop girls from becoming single mothers, by having a father in the home. Because the father is going to sit there and he's going to look at these guys and he's going to check these guys. And what he's going to do when his daughter starts talking about guys she wants to get involved with, he's going to insist on seeing this boy before he gets involved with his daughter. So when you have a father in that home handling business, you are going to stop girls from becoming single mothers, and you're going to create boys who are going to grow up to become responsible men. So a father has, again, a very important role in a home, and that role has been minimized and devalued over the last 50 years as we've watched numerous movies and TV shows like Mr. Mom and Homer Simpson and guys like Ray Romano and Peter Griffin. We have seen the father's role made into a joke, but the father's role is an important one to God, and it's an important one to our overall society, because when you have that father in communities, he is the person who sets a standard for the quality of life. The reason why you have a ghetto that is run down and in ruins is because there are no men there to create order or establish structure for things. Because the woman, when she is in charge, she lets others, foreigners, come in and control the community. But when there are men controlling the community, they set a standard for how life will be, and that creates a higher quality of life for everyone. So giving that father that emotional support and the ability to emotionally support his children, this is how you stop your girls from becoming baby mamas, and this is how you stop your sons from becoming Pookies and Ray Rays. Because when this black man is taking an active role in his children's lives, he is modeling responsible manhood to his sons and modeling responsible manhood to his daughters. So we need, again, that investment in the black man so that he can be that authority figure. He can be that man who is a model for a hard-working employee or a working businessman, and he can create that business structure that creates an economic system so that other young boys have somebody to look up to and somebody to get their first job from. And he's somebody who, again, is essential to a core, strong community. Now, the other thing we also, I think I went into it, is we need to give black men jobs that were given to black women and every other minority, because affirmative action was, again, originally about correcting past discrimination from the black man that he suffered during Jim Crow, where qualified, well-educated black men were denied jobs under the Jim Crow system. Under that system, we saw college-educated professionals having to work as janitors and chauffeurs because these racists would not let them have jobs. They erected this HR brick wall, and over the last 50 years, the feminists have reinforced that brick wall. And when you give black men jobs and you give them the support to start their own businesses, what that does is it creates an ability to create economic empowerment for the black man. And that type of investment, again, allows black communities to grow, because when people see a black man working and the black man has his authority, then we have a black man who is capable of being a father. And when you get rid of things like these gynocentric family courts that practically are designed to destroy black families, then you have a ability for the black man to assert his economic authority in his community, and assert his authority over how his family is run without this black woman going to the family courts for child support or going to the welfare state, which I also believe should be abolished. And that creates it where the woman is dependent on the man, and then the woman starts making the responsible choices of what type of man she wants to get involved with. Because when you invest in the black man, what happens is the Pookies and Ray Rays start disappearing. And the reason why they start disappearing is because there's no more economic incentive for the black woman to get involved with a Pookie and a Ray Ray. Because when you abolish the family courts, when you get rid of the welfare state, and you give a black man an opportunity to work and have his own business, then you have black women who have to be dependent on the black man, and they have to meet the black man's standards. So that's what happens when you have a black man who is working, and the black woman has no other option except to depend on the black man. Now, in addition to breaking down that HR brick wall, we need a job market that gives black men job security. Now, this investment in job security is something that black men truly need, because most black men out here in this white supremacist system, we don't get invested in on the job. We are not seen as an asset to companies, and most people in these companies, they will go out of their way to fire a black man over the smallest infraction. He could be 2 seconds late, and this will be their reason for terminating him. Or he could just look at the wrong white man the way, and that, is a reason to fire that black man. Now, any other person of any other race, they could make any mistake, but if this black man makes a mistake, he's fired over that smallest infraction and punished for something that everybody else would get a pass for. And in order to build a stronger black community, black men need job security, and we need protection from racists on the job who want to use their petty feelings to go out here and destroy the lives of a black man. Because on many of these jobs, you have many of these racists running around, and they want to just get a black man and hurt a black man because they're in their feelings about a black man. And that's something that needs to be stopped, because every time you take a black man out of the job market, what happens is you wind up destroying a black community. Every black man that is not working is someone who has to either depend on the government or depend on trying to find some other way to make a living. And that's something that prevents communities from growing, and it adds more burden to our state. So many employers who are caught up in their feelings about race need to understand that if you really want to help a black man, economically empower him with employment, or economically empower him by supporting his business. Because when you go out of your way to keep a black man working and paying taxes into the system, he's not taking resources out of the system. So that's one of those things that people aren't really thinking about, because so many people get caught up in their feelings about, oh, this black man's on the job, he's going to be lusting after white women. I can tell you, as a black man who has been on jobs, I have never had an interest in white women, and I don't care about white women. I don't even care about women on the job. All I want to do is do my 8 hours, get paid, and then go back home. I could care less about any woman on the job, because I know that if you get involved with women on the job, it's one of those he said, she said situations. And in this era of Me Too, you could wind up losing your job just like that. And black men, oftentimes, we lose our jobs like that because somebody's in their feelings, somebody is upset, somebody has an issue, and instead of them dealing with those issues, they wind up trying to take out their feelings out on us. Now, the other thing that I see that as related to investing in black men is giving black men not only authority over their communities, but being able to deal with conflicts inside of their homes. For so long, these days, all a black woman has to do is call the police, and that black man can be taken out of his home. And they could be over something as simple as a toilet seat being left up. A black woman can call 911 on a black man and have him locked up. And when she gets that man locked up, she's in her feelings about whatever happened, but she's not thinking about the long-term damage she is doing to that black man, to that household, and to herself. She's just thinking, I got that N-word, and not thinking about how she's getting herself. Because what many black women who don't understand about investing in a black man don't understand is that when you call 911 on that black man and he gets arrested, he gets a record, and he will lose his job, and he will lose his ability to be able to provide income to the household. Because when a black man winds up in the system, that black man winds up losing his job because he's inside of a jail cell and waiting for a court date, and that's taking income out of your home. So a lot of these black women complain, oh, I don't have a house, he doesn't provide anything for me. But when you call 911, you prevent yourself from being able to get provided for. Because a lot of these fake domestic violence calls that some black women make, these are the things that can upturn a black man's life and prevent that black man from being inside of his home as a head of household and being a father in the home. Because when you undermine that man's authority by bringing in law enforcement, then what happens is then the children also don't see him as a man they should respect. They don't see him as a leader they should respect, and they don't see him as an authority figure. Moreover, they don't see you as somebody they should respect either, because instead of you trying to conflict resolve with this man, you decided to bring in somebody else and have this white person come in and be the authority. And when this white person is seen as the authority by your kids, it prevents you from being able to have order in your household. So a lot of black women, they get upset with a black man and call up the 911, not understanding how that upends their entire household and upends the family. So we need investment in black men, because if we don't invest the seeds into the black men, we cannot grow a strong black community. Everybody thinks that we can invest in other people, we can invest in the black woman, we can invest in the black child, but none of this is ever going to grow or prosper without investing in the black man. And the reason why it's not going to work is because God created the black man first. He created the black man with a specific role as the leader and authority figure and the steward who is accountable and responsible to him, because the black man is the one with the direct connection to the Most High living God, and as the one with the direct connection to the Most High living God, he is under the authority of the living God. And when we invest in the black man, then we can get the blessings of the living God and things can prosper. That is the only way we can get things to grow, is to invest in the black man, because an investment in the black man is a reestablishment of God's natural order. And investing in the black father is something that is paramount to building a strong black community, because a black man is a builder, and he is someone who goes out here and constructs things like a household, constructs things like a family, and then constructs things like businesses that allow black men and black women to go out here and work. So an investment in a black father is something that most people really need to understand. In order to get out of things like the welfare state, single mother households, and the man crisis that has been going on in black communities for over 50 years, we have to start making that investment in black fathers, because with black fathers, that's the only way we're going to move things forward. And we really don't need the government to come in here and do too much, because when you have men working with other men, we can start that investment very, very on our own. We can do that on our own, and we can invest in these black fathers, men teaching other men, men mentoring other men, men showing men the model for manhood, and men going out here and looking to help out other men. This is how we get that investment in black men, and we have to invest in ourselves, and we have to go out here and make that investment, because, again, if we don't do the work of investing in our black fathers, changing the perception of black fathers, and showing the value of a black father, then we are not going to see any sort of growth in the black community. So black fathers are essential to rebuilding a black community. He is the cornerstone of a black community. Remember, God made the black man first, and he made the black woman to be the helpmeet and support. So in order to get black families strong again, you have to invest in the black man, not the black woman, because we've invested in the black woman for over 50 years. She's the most educated woman in the world, but her community is still in shambles, and that shows us how much of a failure the investment in the black woman has been over 50 years. We've given her jobs, we've given her welfare, we've given her Section 8, we've given her WIC, we've given her child support, and this has all been a complete failure, where we're pouring $1,000 in for every dollar that is spent, every $1,000 in on these women, and we're only getting maybe about even less than a cent in return, because the average black woman's net worth is only $5. So we're getting a loss on that investment, and it's time to go with a new approach, and that new approach is investing in the black man and investing in rebuilding the black man so that he can grow into a responsible father in God's natural order. If you'd like to learn more about investing in men, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find it on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to learn more about why so many black women are dysfunctional, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find it on Smashwords and the iBookstore. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and Kindle this fall, Esteem Blast from the Past. Hell's aspiring angel takes on her demonic doppelganger in this time-traveling, action-packed Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteem Blast from the Past